Scott MacFarlane joins me now here at the family table. Scott, welcome for your first episode here at the family table. There's a pardon parade going on from the Trump administration. Walk, if you can, our audience through some of the highlights.
About a dozen more, either pardons.
Such as they might be.
Yeah, well, exactly. It could be pardons, it could be clemency, it can be commutations, but they're doling them out more and more. And today at the White House, we've learned of another one, Michael Grimm, the former New York congressman who served time in 2016 for fraud, healthcare fraud. His case has now resulted in a pardon. There's going to be more as the day goes on, but you got to add that to the list this week. You had the Virginia sheriff, the former sheriff who was caught on camera taking cash bribes in exchange for badges for private citizens. He got a pardon the day he was to report to prison. And in the middle, you see Todd and Julie Chrisley, the reality TV show stars who were in prison when they got their pardons today. They were convicted of fraud and tax evasion. This list is adding up. There's a common theme to some of these major. Our review at CBS News shows so many of the recipients never applied for pardons, which means this is operating outside the normal system.
And when you say operating outside the normal system, there's a suggestion in some of the social media posts from the president about these pardons is that they're necessary to intervene to correct a miscarriage of justice. That something happened. It was either weaponized or wrong. Is there any other underlying evidence other than what the president says on social media that these cases were mishandled?
Certainly nothing in the Virginia sheriff's case. That case hadn't even gone through the appeals process. So if there's an issue with the case, it didn't even get litigated in the courts. The man hadn't yet reported to prison. With the other cases, there is a system you use that wasn't used. As a pardon applicant, you literally apply. You paid your restitution. You showed remorse. You showed some growth. You served some of your time.
Or you apply some, or provide rather, some documentation of some miscarriage or alleged miscarriage of justice. We don't have that in any of those.
And the appeals had been exhausted, was a requisite in the system. What the former pardon attorney told us, the one who was fired by the administration in March, is that the system—
The Trump administration fired in March.
Yeah. That the system seems to be collapsing if you're not using it. If you don't function as a pardon system, there's no sense in having a pardon system.
You also have a conversation with someone who's retiring, who's prominent in Washington, Capitol Police Chief.
The former Montgomery County, Maryland, and Fairfax County, Virginia Police Chief Thomas Manger was called out of retirement after January 6 to stabilize the traumatized police department after the U.S. Capitol insurrection. Manger retires Friday. They'll have to find a successor. It's a difficult job to fill because there's 535 bosses for the U.S. Capitol Police Chief.
Indeed.
But speaking with CBS News, he really leaned into his criticisms of those pardons of the January 6 rioters, some of whom beat, maced, clubbed police officers. Take a listen to Thomas Manger speaking with CBS News.
You could be involved in some massive public disorder event, and that you could have a politician later on decide that, well, I liked what this side was doing, so we're going to pardon all these people. It was, I think, a slap in the face to every police officer that was here.
One other note about the U.S. Capitol Police Department, Major. The chief has asked for a budget next year of $1 billion or so. $1 billion. A lot of money. To protect Congress, protect the Capitol, and protect them from the 10,000 or so threats they get each year all around the country. He's likely to get that money. It's nearly double what it was a few years ago.
Scott MacFarlane, always a pleasure. Welcome to the family table.
Nice to be at the table.